afternoon to all participants of today's workshops. So welcome to our workshop today, which is called as Reinventing Talent Management, Local International Perspectives. My name is Aigul, and I will be the host of today's event. So the workshop has been organized within the Talent Project, and I think the project itself is unique in a sense that it has gathered talented professors, experts, and teachers from 4 European and 6 Central Asian universities who have been working together in developing the courses in human resource management and, of course, establishing master programs in our region. And I think the concept of talent management is quite important, especially in our Central Asian region. And today we have a great opportunity to listen and learn, I think, from different perspectives coming from international and local. And I would like to say big thanks to our speakers. Yes, one of the big thanks comes to our first speakers, professors from Northampton University, Professor Adejoke Ige-Olaobaju, and the Professor Divya Shukla, who are going to share their experience in talent management from the United Kingdom. Yes, without further ado, I will be giving a floor to our speakers. Please.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, depending on I am Dr. Adejoke Ige-Olaobaju. I'm a lecturer in human resource management and organizational behavior at the University of Northampton. Presenting with me this morning is my colleague, Dr. Divya Shukla. She is a lecturer in leadership and organizational behavior, also at the University of Northampton. Divya and I have been lecturing, we've been conducting academic researches, we've been presenting academic papers at local and international conferences. And we have also been writing academic papers and publishing in academic journals for over 15 years. So our areas of expertise are in human resource management, in leadership, in resourcing and talent management, and also organizational behavior. So this morning we have come to have a presentation. And so Divya, the next slide, please. So the title of our presentation this morning, is Revitalizing Talent Management in the UK, a Way Forward. The next slide, please. As an outline, we are going to be exploring the concept of talent management. We're going to be looking at the contextual overview of a labor market in the UK, identify some of the challenges of talent management. We will also be highlighting the importance of revitalization of talent management. And then we came up with a review of existing debates and theoretical views with regards to talent management. And then we proposed a new model, which we believe will be the way forward to revitalize talent management. The next slide, please. So, as a form of introduction, we know that the factors and systems that shape the composition and supply of talent within our organizations are becoming increasingly challenging, increasingly complex and fluid. The environment where our organizations operate, they are being characterized as being VUCA. And when we say VUCA, we talk about being volatile, very, very uncertain, a lot of complexity and ambiguity. This environment is creating significant challenges for the demand and supply of our talent. Apart from that, this environment is also creating a lot of challenges with regards to attracting, engaging, and retaining talents. Just like we know, many organizations are beginning to extend their operations across national and global contexts. And as such, effective management of talent is going through a lot with regards to managing the strategic human resource management decision process. Also, the potential of having to manage also the strategic talent management, that is the people. And so these all have the potential to either empower our organization or interrupt the process and the abilities of our organizations to attract, to engage, to retain. Hence, there is need for us to know how to manage our challenge within our organization in order to attain that competitive advantage. So, given the above explanation, we are proposing that it is imperative for us to understand the context, that is the contextual environment whereby we are talking about talent management. We want to understand the conditions and to see how the process shapes strategic human resource management, and in particular this morning, strategic talent management. And so in order to explore and to uncover all of those, we are looking at the concept. Like you can see on this screen, we've got different definitions of talent management. And with regards to this definition, we have come to the conclusion that there are some key words or some key things or some key information that we can bring out from that. Talent management is indeed a systemic process, a process of attracting, a process of engaging, a process of retaining individuals who have that high potential and who can make a significant difference and also provide that competitive advantage and added value within our organizations. The next slide, please. So this slide is telling us about the concepts. We've got several concepts, and we are going to be starting from the 1990s, as you can see. The management of talent focused more on career planning, HR planning, focusing on skill shortages and skill surplus, how to manage it within our organization. Fast forward to the year 2000 or in the 2000s, attentions have shifted drastically, and now emphasis is placed more on job-based pay structure and also the person or the knowledge-based pay structure. And what exactly do we mean by this pay structures? The job-based pay structure is focusing more on how responsibilities of individuals and their working condition informs the form of compensation. The person or the knowledge-based pay structure, on the other hand, is now focusing more on the individual skills, individual's knowledge and competence, and this is being used as a yardstick for compensation. So the argument we are making this morning is this: all of these concepts that we have brought together, are they actually enough to manage the way we attract, manage, and retain our talent in this generation, in an era where there is COVID, in an era where we are working, working from home? So we are saying from this discussion that are these concepts really enough for us to make sure that those individuals that are our competitive advantage, manage them, retain them over the years. Don't forget again, globalization has come to stay. The next slide, please. So what we have done in this presentation is that we have come up with a personal analysis looking at the UK context. And so we are looking at those factors that shape talent management within the context of the UK. And like you know, Brexit is unique within the UK. And when we say Brexit, we simply mean Britain exiting the European Union. In addition to that, the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact has been enormous on all the relevant stakeholders in the UK. For example, in the UK, the pandemic has resulted in a lot of businesses closing down because of the lockdown restriction, which has been ongoing for over a year now in the UK. And as a result of that, there has been increasing cases of fallout and redundancies. For example, in the UK, we have about 8.9 million people who are on the government furlough scheme. In addition to that, we've got about 1.6 million people who are currently unemployed in the UK. All of these have got a significant impact on how we manage manage our talent in the UK. As you can also see on this slide, we've got a lot of other related issues. For example, we've got, with the climate change, environmental legislation. How does all of this affect how we get the right people on the right job. And then technology is another thing. And don't forget the socio-cultural factors, the fact that our lifestyle seems to have changed as a result of COVID-19. A lot of remote working, a lot of working from home. The UK at the moment is experiencing 5 generations of workforce, all in the workplace. How do we manage these different generations? They've got different opinion about work, different way they see work, different expectations about work. How indeed do we manage them? This takes us to the next slide, where we now look at the current challenges of talent management in the UK specifically. The first thing we are looking at is Brexit. The fact that Brexit has resulted in a situation where the UK is experiencing a lot of skill shortages, a lot of mismatch, a lot of challenges with regards to getting talent from the external environment. And I can tell you the NHS in the UK is at the moment struggling seriously with regards to getting the supply of their talent. Just like some of you know, some of the talents that come to the UK are from the EU. And so the impact of Brexit, we are beginning to feel it in the health sector. Unfortunately, we are experiencing it at a time of COVID, which is not the best of time. Also, we've got the different generations of workers, in our workforce. We've got a silent generation, the baby boomers. We've got generation X, Y, and Z. And attracting, retaining, engaging these individuals in the workplace is enormous, especially with regards to managing talent and with regards to making sure that they get the best out of these individuals. Remote working, COVID-19 has created a situation whereby organizations are faced with managing employee work-life balance. There are so many cases of employees talking about stress, the fact that people are stressed out, managing employees' emotional and mental well-being. All of this has resulted in a lot of challenges, especially within the context of COVID. Advancement in technology and artificial intelligence. We cannot overlook the fact that the world is going IT. Just like you can see, we are speaking from different parts of the world using technology. And you can see what has happened to Dr. Divya's system this morning. Advancement in technology and artificial intelligence. This has resulted in organizations having to embark on upskilling and reskilling their existing workforce. And bringing all of this together, effective succession planning and talent retention cannot be overemphasized at this point. The next slide, please. Thank you very much. So, why do we need to revitalize talent management? What is important about revitalization? So we are saying, given all that we have explained earlier, there is need to have an all-inclusive and a multi-level approach when we are talking about talent management. We need to focus on the strategic business orientations, integrate the contextual factors. And when we are saying contextual factors, we are looking at the national, the international, the micro, macro, meso environment where we are looking at talent management. In addition to that, we need to also understand the interaction among the relevant stakeholders when we are talking about talent management. And some of these stakeholders are employers and education institutions like us. Then talent management needs also to have an alignment. This alignment needs to be brought together with regards to what we have in the labor market and what our organizations really, really want. Then employee well-being, increasing employee expectations cannot be overlooked. However, agility of our employees is very, very important so that our workforce can be adaptable and for them to be able to sustain or manage all the strategies that we are putting in place in order to enhance effective employee and employer relations and their well-being all within the world of work. So with this, I'm going to hand over to my colleague in the person of Dr. Divya to give us an overview of what we are proposing this morning. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Dr. Addy, for covering this part. And I will just start shortly. Although I have few minutes, I'll try my level best to complete on time cycle. But let's see how that goes, because already 20 minutes here. So I really agree with Dr. Reddy on understanding the UK context and understanding the perspective. My saying is more on the holistic perspective that could be taken the example of UK to other countries as well. And here the debates happens in the literature and the practice, that what basically talent is. Some people say it is still not clear who is talent or what is talent. We have an objective and subjective conflicts. When objective happens, organization look forward for knowledge management and career management. But when subjective happens, they look forward for knowledge for succession planning and career development. So still there is not a perfect balance between two. On the other hand, if we say inclusive approach, then every individual has a certain talent and that should be valued. Whereas when we talk about exclusive, so we only focus on the top performer into our processes, and that we consider as exclusive approach. So now still there is no proper balance in the practice even, and in the theory also. We don't say that that is the best way, and that's what the situation we live in. We live in the context, and that's why we need to understand that in what context the operation of the organization is taking place. When we say transferable, we say that talented people are always performing no matter what environment they live in. But on the other hand, we say that the context is very important to shape the talents. So still there are conflicts that we need to understand and we need to address to get the more right model. Going further, we often come across understanding what existing models are saying. So in respect to the existing model, we got to know that existing model is more or less internally focused. It's focusing more on micro level, where the processes are being taken care. Human resource management is the main perspective, instead of having the alignment of business strategy with the global or a national level talent strategy. There is a still huge gap in between two. Also, there is a not strong relationship between the existing process to the context that the environment. So there is three important shift is needed in the existing system. First, shift from micro to macro level orientation, shift from HR to more aligning business strategy so that more contingency in the environment and more future talent could be met. And a shift from internal organizational focus to contextual, our outside, because even if the external in macro level affects, if I am having a talent and my competitors are doing better, even in the micro level the competition is there, and we can't ignore that part. So with this we just come up with our own set of model, and our theoretical foundation for this model are two. We have gone through with contingency theory, because there is no best way to reach, as contingency theory say, and context play a very important role in any of the operation that takes place. So we take this as our foundation. The another theory that we think is the system theory, because there is uh, strong gap between system and subsystems, and this need to be addressed. How the organization planning is happening and how that organization planning is well aligned with the global and national level planning, it's really important to bridge that gap. And that's why we come up with more system perspective and integrated thinking model of our talent management. So without a further delay, let's go to our model. So when we talk about our model, I just want you to focus upon that the interlink between the employee talent to an organization talent. So if I am a multitasking person, probably at time of complexity or at time of crisis, I can support my organization. So if one room of talent is off, I can reach to the another room of talent, because I had a multi-skill approach. But who will decide that? So we come across with the interlink between the employee perspective and organization perspective. And when we talk about that, it is important at individual level to create an awareness that how they can bring up a multi-skilling, that skill that could give them a lifetime employment, safety, their health perspective, their well-being perspective, their finance perspective. So it's not like that I ended up into a job because my mom and dad said, or maybe the environment said to me to be into, and then after a certain period of time, I realized, oh, this is not the right job for me. And I then, move on. So it's very important that awareness at individual level is created to get a strong resilience and adaptable skill set that could align with the organization need. And therefore, organization, instead of focusing more on exclusive approach, should actually look forward towards more integrated and inclusive approach of talent management. Should not focus only on A and B performers. We personally, that's our point of view, that if you only focus on 5% of the employee and not focusing on the 95% of the employee and investing a lot of resources into the key performers and not on that, but at time of complexity and a crisis, you need a whole talent to face the challenge. And that's why the perfect balance between two is needed. So how the organization perspective and how the individual perspective are aligning, that gap need to be identified. On the other hand, when we talk about the national level strategy, what kind of skill set is needed to that particular nation for a coming future, and what kind of how that identification is taking place, and how that identification is well aligning with the education and learning models, or maybe the talent production, is an important perspective. So how the institute or universities are aligning well with the government and the organization to flow the talent that is needed is very important at this point of time. Education institution at this stage is still leading with many perspective, but however, we need to think that how that alignment could happen to meet the future talent demand. We also come across that what is important to retain at this point of time. Well, in every level, we personally feel that reflection is very important element that should be retained, so that we can continuously reflect on the processes and the practice and can improve on the certain aspects. But when we move to the synchrony between the national and global level, we certainly wants to tell that how that collective approach could be done, and then how inclusive approach could be handled. That is very important. So we need to think of the chemistry between the whole meso, macro, and macro level. Now, I would just take you towards the certain implications. As I have time limitation, I just say that this model will have more effective and talent supply. But what we are feeling at the moment, that how this model can be taken into the practice, and what kind of suggestions or recommendation could happen to actually address the micro level challenges that has happening after the COVID. We come up with that suggestion here. Here we need to understand that how we apply design thinking in designing the talent management strategies and process. Now, what is design thinking is basically a chemistry of analytical mastery with intuitive originality. People have made decision with the data set that they have, but how that really comes up with the intuitive originality, it's very important to think. So HR need to empathize that what ongoing issues and problems that employees are facing, and how the experimentation that is taking place within the organization could support and envision the problems and envision the solutions to those problems. So what is important here is something very important, that organization comes up, or HR comes up with rapid prototyping, so that they can come up with some pilot experiments with certain customer and employee interface, and get to know that what choices are made and what questions to ask to that experiment. The another important perspective is experience mapping. It is very important to understand that how organization able to develop a psychological contract between employee and organization, because retention of the employee can really handle this, can really handle by the intelligence that what are the psychological touch point. So organization and HR should have an inventory on experience mapping for entire employment journey of an employee, when he brought to the organization, during the employment, and after that, so that they can come up with a strong psychological touch point analysis, which can use to give them right talent at the right time. So if I am aiming to be a scientist at the moment, that kind of talent could be given to me, and that could benefit to the organization output at the same time. Another thing is remote working is asking us to be flexible, transparent, and interactive. Hence, we need to come up with a new model that is more consistent and more interactive in every level. And how that we work in a group, being in a silo, is the point that we need to reflect at the moment. To do that, what we should do? Well, I also come up with the nudge theory application, which is a uh, behavioral psychology or behavioral economics. These two should come together to understand that how TM or talent management policies and practices could be improved. So when we talk about, for example, there are various intervention on nudges of employing behavior for a better good. We take decisions on intuitions. That's the ideologies that happens. We really leave the rationals bounding. So how that intuitions are being nudged and how we give a choice architecture to our employees so that they can make a right decision is very important at this point of time. Above all, and the last one, which we think that it is a very important suggestion, is to have an inclusive approach while developing people. So there should be a strong collaborative space created.
And so I will be taking over from now. For as you can see, as you can hear from what we have said so far, this is an ongoing research between myself and Dr. Divya. And so in summary, this is what we are saying. The contextual factors that shape the composition of talent management within the UK has become indeed VUCA. The current challenges of talent management within the UK could not necessarily be supported well by the existing models. This is because they seem inadequate from cross-level, cross-levels, cross-multi-level interaction. And so we are making a proposition for a need to revitalize talent management nationally, globally, even within organization and amongst individual employees. So we have used the systems and the contingency theories to present our own multi-level model. This model is holistic in its nature, it is business-centric, and it also integrates the contextual environment needed for the process of talent management. All of this, we believe, because we will be going on with our data collection, analysis, and all of that, that at some point, we will be having a significant impact. Impact on the contextual environment, impact on the relevant stakeholders in the management of talent in the UK and globally. Thank you so very much for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very interesting, I think, to listen and learn, yes, from the UK perspective. So if you will have time, maybe from audience, one question, maybe only one question came from our students. She's asking, do you think robots can be referred to talent pool?
That is quite an interesting question. Robots are not human. Even though robots are being programmed to carry out some activities, the human is unique in the sense that we've got the ability to think. We have a mind, and we are the ones that develop the robots, and we are the ones that have programmed the robots. We can't say, yes, they are providing some support with regards to talent, providing some support, but we would not say, given the nature of our research, that they are part of the talent pool, because we are looking at talent from the perspective of the uniqueness of human beings, you and I, in the world of work. I don't know if Dr. Divya has anything to say.
Yeah, I will just say that, human mind has three levels of intelligence: spiritual, emotional, and rational. Robots could be given the, emotional and rational intelligence, but to have a spiritual intelligence, it needs to be a human, because that's important. So, and that is very important, when we talk about the chemistry of data analysis and intuitiveness in making a decision. So intuitiveness comes with the spiritual intelligence. It never comes with the rationality. So it is important to have all three and have an importance, and understand that what we need to give to the robot, that's very important. Otherwise we may come up with a disastrous movement. So it is really important to have that perspective that, robot is a machine and we need to, otherwise we will lead by machine, we need to lead machine.
Thank you. I see
I
Jan.
think Jan has some question. Jan?
I think Jan has one question.
Yes, I have, but it's a very general question. What I hear, for example, from Ade is the stressing of the political situation, from Divya also the context and the international context. And you're also referring to sudden events, like, well, sudden events, let's say, like COVID-19 or Brexit. So my general question is, you are making models that are more appropriate to this situations or to these contexts. What about, well, I know at least one human resource manager management professor who would say that, well, human resource management, it has universal rules, and basically you apply it in every country. What is your reaction or your point of view, both actually, from your side?
Thank you so very much, Jan. I think one thing you've just said, this which is the last part of your discussion, you mentioned the context. And so we need to manage human resource from the uniqueness of the context. And that is why we've got the personal analysis. However, no nation, no organization lives in silos anymore. So we are beginning to see that the world is becoming more global. Everything is becoming small, so to say. And as a result of that, we are looking at managing talent globally. Like, someone could be working in the UK and living in Kyrgyzstan, for example. The COVID-19 pandemic has created a situation where we can actually do interviews for job opportunities across the globe. And this too takes us to the global context. And so what we are saying is that the context is becoming broader. The context is becoming more complex. The context is becoming more ambiguous. We can't even define the context anymore, because like we are speaking now, we are in the UK, and contextually, we are speaking to you in that country, Kyrgyzstan, where you are. So the contextual environment requires us to become more holistic in our viewpoint. Let's look outside the organization and look nationally and globally. For example, we've got so many organizations who have expanded to other nations of the world. So how do they manage their talent globally to make sure that they have the right standard across board? So these are the things that our model is saying, that we need to become more holistic. Yes, we need to begin to think nationally, but we also need to be conscious of the global context, because events arising in the global context affects us nationally, affects us in our organization, and affects us individually. I don't know if Dr. Divya has anything to say.
Yeah, actually, Jan's point is that how we can ensure that the HRM practices and HRM views are different from one nation to another, and the context plays. And I think it is important that we now reach to in collective mode. The way pandemic has taught us, everybody is actually fighting in silo. It is important to have some, important perspective of being in collection, and face the challenges, face the problems, and live life very holistically. And that's why it is important to understand that what are the good practices happening in every level, whether it is an eastern nations or a global or western nations. The good practices must have filtered out now to get the new system work, and to get that flow of knowledge transfer from one country to another. one country could be very good for economic or technical talent, one could be very good for a legal talent, and how that talent could support each other. That mechanism should come up from the international organization, or especially those who are designing the plan or designing the educational programs. These all need to be reflected and do it now. So I hope we come up with some good points, and we look forward to listen to others as well.
Yeah, I think the key thing that we are trying to say is that we need to enhance transferability.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I suppose now we can introduce our second speakers who are coming from Kyrgyz Economic University. I mean, actually from our practitioners from Kyrgyzstan. The topic is going to be covered through within the international organization in Kyrgyzstan. Yes, the speakers are Aigul Chertanova. She's the head of Human Resource Capital Department. It's the first microfinance company in Kyrgyzstan, and her colleague Bermet Alymova, senior officer. Actually, Aigul is one of our professor. Yes, he's a practitioner, and I think one of the highly specialized as a practitioner. So, floor is yours, Aigul. Please.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Thank you very much. It was a really very interesting and useful presentation, and we are really delighted to be part of this useful and interesting event. And now I'm present at the Kyrgyz University, Economic University, Human Resources Master Program, and also the first microfinance company. Our company is a part of a global, very huge and friend family. This is the Agahan Development Network. And in our company, now they work more than 80,000 employees around the world. And this is more than 10 agencies and more than 30 countries. And in Kyrgyzstan, we have several agencies like Kyrgyz Investment Credit Bank and Jubilee Insurance Company, University of Central Asia, and First Microfinance Company, and Agahan Foundation, and AKDN Development Representatives, and other agencies. Some of our agencies earn money and resources, and other agency spread these resources during the social, economical, and different interesting educational programs around the world. And in Kyrgyzstan, our company 3 years ago based AKDN subcommittee. This is a HR subcommittee, and it really was interesting practice, because when we met first time, it was for our meeting, and all HR managers, because we are like present our company, sometimes our work is like some confidential information, and now after the 3 years we understand that we are like a friendly and supporting team, and it's very useful to be more open and transparent, and I think that it's a very really good idea to share new best practice and to discuss some problems and new ideas and new interesting insights and different concepts. And now, with my colleagues Bermet Alymova, she is a senior officer of First Microfinance Company, Human Capital Department, and we prepared the presentation for you about AKDN global approach of performance appraisal and talent management. And please, Bermet.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Aigul, for representing me. And thank you for university for giving this opportunity to be a part of this workshop. I will continue with Aigul's topic. We will talking about AKDN talent development system. Saida, can I ask you to move the slideshow to the sixth slide, please? Can you move it? Okay, thank you. So about the AKDN HR vision, talent and performance development. So we know everybody knows that the time flies so fast. Everything is changing, and tools are going forward, and nothing is keeping the same. And nowadays, organizations are challenging today, and with new management techniques and the new ways of doing business. And despite the modern methods and implementations, we adhere to the classic methods of the assessing talent management. All the time, we are trying to keeping with new tools and going in line with modern methods. But in our case, we was sure that this old classic method of talent management and performance development method, it's working, and it works for our agency as well. Especially it's working, and it showed some results during the last 2 years, because everybody maybe should know it's not new in our country that we are in the periods of integration with big bank in Kyrgyz Republic, and during 2 years it's going the situation unstable situation for all of our staff, and it was very helpful to use this system, talent management and performance system, in this period, and it really helped us to keep the staff turnover. It's showing good results. It's keeping staff loyalty, and business efficiency is high, and it's still increasing. So we see the results, and we appreciate this method. And when we are talking about the talent and performance management, we have to tell about talent. Who is talent? And he is born, or he is self-made, or somebody should make him. Yeah. In business context, the talent would be an employee, or is combining two competences like ability and capability, and he should he should do things well and using this ability and capability competences. Can you please go forward, please, Aigul? Yeah, and we can say that talent is not always born, and it can be cultivated with passion, with patience, and with time and future business depending on the talent. And that's why every company, every organization should keep accent to talent, because he is doing a future business. And talking about talent management, it's in line with talent management. We should talk about performance management and talent management. They are going together. We can't say that they are not they are one side of or different side of one coin, but they are going very near, and they are accompany each other, but there are some differences. And talent management is a border which is helping to recruit, to retain talent, to HR to develop and reward employees. Can you please move in the next 9 slide, please? Okay, talent management, and there are some AKDN is highlighting talent management guiding principles. There are 5, and the first, the common purpose of the AKDN for this talent management guiding principle is to develop both sides, employee and organization. For organization, it's getting correct and right talent in order to ensure the good future of the business. And for the talent purpose, it is to open his abilities, capabilities, and talents in order to develop himself for the future. And the talent management about the potential. And the next slide is about the potential. And Corn Ferry, he made the following formula of the potential. To take it, we should have raw material, yeah, like career, motivation, and interest, plus experience of staff, and multiplying to the learning agility, and we'll get the results as a potential. So about the learning agility. And if you will talk about why it's necessary, we go to the next slide. And to understand learning agility in our times, it's very necessary, very important, because this competence is to learn from experience, to learn from past, and to use these learnings for the future under new and challenging conditions. And learning ability has several factors. There are 5: mental, self-awareness, results, change, and people agility. And this, as organizations work through their high potential from the rest of the pack, assessing learning agility is a great first step. And after learning agility, we come to the next step. It's about performance development guiding principles of AKDN. AKDN is these guiding principles have been developed after consultations throughout the AKDN and set the principle for the personal development system. In our network, we are using 2 periods of appraisal evaluation. It's mid-year and annual appraisal. So annual appraisal, it's for all staff except the management staff, because management staff, they are evaluating in December as mid and in June as annual appraisal. So next one is about the performance development. Performance development, and the concept of this is being replaced. Yeah, now in our times, performance management is being replaced by performance development, because it's been shown as being as effective and enhancing performance. And this performance development means that manager, you are thinking of the individual development growth right from the start of objective setting or throughout the year, supporting them, growing, feeding the employee, and they are more likely to perform well, remaining engaged, think about career of their employer. And can you move to the next, please? 15th. In our company, we are using not 360-degree, but we are using 180-degree evaluation. There are employee and manager evaluation when employee is assessing himself and manager is assessing him, and they are discussing, next one, and they are discussing about the achieved goals, about the future goals, achievements, strengths, and weakness of employee, and they are putting common goals. In this meeting, it's very important to keep these relationships. Here, HR role is very big, because he is empowering the manager and to support the manager in employee relationships and supporting him. And this talent management and this evaluation system is going about the main part of this evaluation system is feedback. And if we are going to the next slide, we will talk about the performance development planning, about feed forward and feedback. And the main part of the talent management evaluation system is about feedback. And in line with feedback, we have feed forward. And during the development and planning creation, we have to be concentrated on the SMART method. And here we indicated as well smarter system. Here we are adding ethical and relationship planning. Ethical, it's about fitting within the AKDN ethical framework and values, and relationships about identifying stakeholders and team required for collaboration to achieve goal. And the next slide you can see that this quality checklist or tool can be used to test that the goals are actually smarter. And we are asking in every goal these questions. There are 7 questions, and every question and every goal is to be evaluated from 1 mark till 6. And in the end of this evaluation, you can see how much these objectives are in line with the goal of the company, in line with this smarter checklist. And after evaluation and performance appraisal done, we are using this 9-box grid tool. And in this tool, you can see the 3 lines. The first here, you can see the potential of the employee, and here the performance based on the current role. And here we can see the bell curve of conferee, and every employee during the evaluation, during the year, during the mid-year, he has own performance development plan. He has goals to be achieved, and through during the evaluation, manager with the employee, they are going through their these plans, these achievements and goals. And after we use this tool, this tool is for HR and for top management. It's confidential documents between top management and HR. It's not for employee. This tool is to see the employee's role, where he is, and how to develop him, because we know that everyone can't stay in one place all the time. It's not stable, and this tool helps to motivate person to if one employee is here and second here and third here, and we can use this tool to move employee from here, take decision about further actions to develop him, observe, or to stretching him, or to develop and stretch. And it helps also to value, to evaluate the atmosphere in your team, the further steps about the team, about the employee. Okay, so the next slide, feedback model, feedback and feed forward model. And we are using this idea model, identifying, describing, and encourage and agree with stuff. It's not about the feedbacking, just it's about nourishing and feeding employee for future growth. And if we'll tell about feedback and feed forward model on the next slide, you can say that feedback is given after the event, and if feedback is necessary for employee to know if his performance in line with what the leader expects, and feeding forward, it's about providing ideas to the employee, to supporting him, to learning together, and to make him grow to the future. And we see that it's this using these methods, the concept of feed forwards, it will help to both sides to develop. In workplace, it's to identify what support and learning is required to meet set objectives, common objectives, and to reach the goal. And this feedback and feed forward is very important in our talent management system. And the next one is in next slide we can see that situation is changing and how learning has evolved as well. And on the left side we can see that the old way, and on the right side new way. If previously experience was after education and exposure, now we can see that experience is taking big role, and after just in case of experience, during the experience, our talent management is working very well because it's playing big role. And in the next slide we can continue this approach, this development plan 7-20-10 approach by conferee. And this model shows that 10% of someone's overall learning comes from format learning, experience, classrooms, online reading, and 20% come from the social learning, from peers, mentoring, feedback, and the huge number of 70% comes from experimental learning on the job, trial, during the making mistakes and learning by doing. So 3 years ago, we have implemented peer buddy or mentoring method. So during the adaptation of period of the new employee or new transferred employee, we are attaching him buddy or a mentor to follow his goals and to teach him to learn together and to achieve the goals. And this method is giving very good results because after adaptation period, we are making some assessments from new staff, and they are giving feedback that it's very helpful for them, and it needs very little time to be adapted. Yeah, and now I have good news because we are coming to the last slide. Because this is a book we recommend for everybody who don't know about this book. It's called Paris Resource for Your Improvements. It's very good resource for creating development plans for your staff, to developing ourselves, competencies, and which competencies to be developed in different towards different goals. And we bought this book and using it during this our work, and it's very helpful. Next slide is thank you for everyone. Thank you for this opportunity and for listening us. If you have any questions, we are ready to answer.
Yes, Bermet, thank you very much. So yes, if colleagues, if your participants, you would like to ask any questions.
Yes, I have a question.
Please, Eckhart.
Yes, we did quite some research on households in Kyrgyzstan, and in this research there shows up quite a lot of corruption and favoritism concerning entry to companies and promotion within companies. How do you work on preventing this?
Mm-hmm. In our company, the main role in recruitment of staff is playing HR department. In every case, in every situation, we are participating, and recruitment, attracting talent from the beginning in our department. So we are trying to following our internal procedures in our recruitment team. There are at least 3% from different departments, different branches to take decision. And we can say that 100% in our company, it's clear, it's open, and candidates are coming here. They are really experienced, really educated, and they are quite right person, right talent for our role. And about the other companies, I can say, yes, situation is having the place in our company, and it's mostly about the governmental structures, maybe. And in our company, we can say that it's very open. Yeah, if you.
I think one of the important factors is that we have a human capital committee, and the head of this committee is in our headquarters in Geneva, and we have every month's report, and it's very important for our company to have a transparent system for the hiring people in our company.
Thank you.
I saw Jan, please.
Yes, I have a similar question as Eckhart. I was just wondering, your company is clearly an international and a global company with these 80,000 employees, and as far as I understand your expose, you can actually use universal schemes on talent development, on human resource management. You seem to apply these global measures or these global procedures. But of course, in contrast to the two former speakers, you are not referring to context. So I was just wondering, but maybe it doesn't play a role. I was just wondering, to what extent does your company face specific situations that are more characteristic for Kyrgyzstan? Maybe there's no answer, but I'm just asking to be sure.
You were talking about the situation with integration in our company?
I was just asking, you are part of a global company.
Mm-hmm.
In this company, you use apparently universal schemes, universal models, and you can apply it to everybody, let's say. Now, I'm just wondering, are there any specificities for Kyrgyzstan where your company had to adapt to the situation, or maybe the answer is just no? I'm just asking.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so we are part of the big global team, and have we have common tools, and to change something. I can say that everything is written in our policies, in our procedure. They are working, and till now it was not necessary to change or to adapt it by some situations. Or till now, yeah, it's working.
Okay.
Quite well.
Okay.
Thank you for your question.
Yeah.
I see a question from Saida, please.
If you want to get more information about specifics in Kyrgyzstan, I would ask my question, because I know that Aigul, she faced lots of problems during COVID-19 period. So it influenced their policies and procedures a lot. That's why, if it's possible, if this information isn't confidential, could you please share your experience during this period of time?
Yes, thank you, Saida, for these questions. In the period of COVID, really support our team because HC department usually have a challenge in the COVID-19 period, and I think that one of the important issue was that we have a AKDN HR subcommittee, and we have online and some WhatsApp chat on the email and some meetings and via Zoom, and every day we shared with the different practice and different approach, and we have a synergy effect, and therefore I think it was helpful for our organization in this difficult period.
Thank you very much, Bermet, Aigul. I think it was practical information coming about AKDN. I think this one is quite huge one, and I believe that they have in terms of the hiring, they have high potential employees. Now I would like to give the floor to Saida Sabirova. She's she works as HR associate at UNICEF. Yes, and at the same time, she is, I think, one of our brightest master students within our new established master program. So we are happy to have her as our speaker today and sharing her research and her experience. Yes, floor is yours, please.
Thank you, everyone. So first of all, I wanted to thank UK and Kyrgyzstan. So my presentation is related to digital talent acquisition in the Kyrgyz Republic, because my thesis is also related to digital HR tools and how they can improve HR management. So let's move to the next slide. So first of all, I wanted to tell you that labor market of the Kyrgyz Republic as of 1st of May is 2,583,600 people. It's approximately 14 times less than in UK. So to tell the truth, I didn't know that people from other EU countries will be here. That's why, since our main speakers are from UK, that's why I made this comparison. So, and as you can see, as per official statistics, our unemployment rate, I think it's quite low. It's 5.5%. So it's approximately the same as is in UK, but as all of us know that in reality, it's not true. But as per official data, everything is brilliant. So the next slide refers to official also data as of 2nd September 2020. 99% of people in Kyrgyzstan had an opportunity to have an access to internet, and 70% they had high quality access internet. And what's interesting that, as you can see, that most of the users are young people, aged 15 and 28 years old. So we have the same issue as people in UK. So we are having this VUCA generation. So that's why it's very important to start changing our HR tools and way of thinking. So, and as you can see, on 6th of May, new application, mobile application was launched. It's the first application with elements of artificial intelligence. So if you are living in Kyrgyzstan, I encourage you to download it. And on 21st of May, there will be presentation of it at Ololo Erkindik. So you can get more information how to use it and about its benefits. And special thanks to Germany, especially GIZ organization, because in reality, it was its initiative in 2018, but then because of lack of funding, Japan continued investing into this project through UNDP, and now we have an opportunity, our population, to use this application. Then I wanted to tell you that to tell the truth, it's really difficult to get any information about HR management in Kyrgyzstan. That's why, thanks to Saikal, we launched 2 independent surveys. One was launched among population, and second one was launched among companies. So, and here is some information received. So I asked to provide people which social media and job alerts they're using to be aware of any vacancies. And as you can see that people prefer using job boards. The leader of it is job.kg, then employment.kg, and headhunter. So I would say that people have low interest in headhunter and LinkedIn. It means that they don't really want to search for a job abroad. I think that maybe it's stipulated by the COVID-19 situation because borders now are closed. But at the same time, we can get remote job opportunities, but I suppose because of problems with English, so people, they don't really have big interest. So the main place of job for them is local organizations. So then they also mentioned that they have interest in UNICEF and especially in UN employment, OSCE and EBRD. So besides, it was interesting to read notes that people say that there is no need to subscribe or follow any specific pages, because if you spend enough time in Facebook and Instagram, so it will be easier for you to find a job. So then I also got surprised when I saw that people still put newspapers so as a source of employment. And Google search, it means that they're not aware of latest engines, techniques. That's why they're still searching for a job manually. So then, as you can see, that people from the government organizations were participating in this survey. And I also wanted to tell you about this Lalafo. Lalafo, it's one of our applications which people are using not only to find job, but also to sell, buy different stuff. But as you can see, it's not really popular among population. And the next point, as it was rightfully mentioned, that some people don't really trust to job search in internet because of scammers. So they don't really think that if they're searching for a job not at the international organization, so normal organization will place announcement there. So that's why I think that our local organization needs really to put attention on this information, because it's a bad sign for HR management, HR managers. So the next slide is connected to survey among companies. So I wanted to get their opinion if our population is ready for digital recruitment or not. And as you can see, it's almost 50-50, but fortunately, more than 50% think that the population is ready and they have sufficient knowledge and necessary equipment. And as you could see, that 99% of our population, they have access to mobile internet. So that's why companies, they need to explore more opportunities in this area. So the next question relates to survey among population. So I wanted to know if it's really popular among people to use internet for job search and social media or not. So, and as you can see, 93% they think that it's useful, at least once they were using this opportunity, and only 6% they don't want to use internet. But I wanted also to mention, of course, people who were participating in this survey, they're working in their offices, so that's why these people really interested to get a job, well-paid job, and always well-paid jobs announcements they are placed in internet. So the next slide relates to biggest difficulties in employment process. So people don't think that it's difficult to take online tests. So then the next problem is being too excited during online interview. But what's interesting, people were saying that they're really nervous during any type of interview, no matter if it's offline or online. So that's why I don't think it's a big problem. So, but two biggest problems are lack of feedback, transparency in selection, and poor customer service. So it means that our HR managers, unfortunately, they still don't act as HR business partners. So they don't think that people, they are our future employees, so they need to have more attention, and they need to have more information, because as you can see that some notes, they mentioned employment corruption. So it means that since people don't know how this process is going on, so they think that everything is unclear, and lack of detailed description of responsibilities. So most of the cases, people, HR managers, they just put requirements and that's it. That's why people, they sometimes they apply for the position, but then HR managers, they complain and they say, nah, this type of search is useless, but more information is provided, better results we get. And the next problem is filling out an online application form on the employer's website. So each organization has its own systems, so it's time consuming. So I think that I hope that our government, as it was said, that each country needs to be led by their government. So we will consider it, because since most of the organizations, they still don't have talent management systems. So we could have the same approach, so it would be easier for people to apply. And the next slide refers to this. So as I have told you that I made the research, so I checked vacancies placed at two job boards, job.kg and deployment.kg, since they're the most popular ones in our country. And I can see that own management systems have only UN agencies, then other international organizations, and private companies. So most of them, they have also the international ones like Deloitte, Coca-Cola. So I also noticed that now some companies like, I don't know if I pronounce it correctly or not, Turbine Kurzberg. So they provide opportunities for remote work. Besides, I saw that lots of IT companies, I couldn't find their announcements, but still, since Kyrgyzstan is considered to be not bad labor market for IT specialists, so some international organizations, not international, but organizations from abroad, they try to find their stuff here. And I also noticed that one organization, Revitalizing KG, is using Google Forms. I think that for the beginning to get applications online, so I think it's not bad. So because for future HR analysis, so I think some organizations can use this experience if they have lack of money. Then the next slide also refers to latest digital talent acquisition news. As you can see that on 1st of July, a new digital project of the EU countries, Work Without Borders, will start. So, and this project is really great because citizens of Russia, Armenia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan will have an opportunity to search for a job in these countries. And I hope that as soon as COVID-19 situation becomes better, so our citizens will be able to now start working at the regional level again. And what's also good, I forgot to tell that lots of attention is paid also on IT security, because it's not a general database, so it will be protected by each country separately. So that's why I think it's a very good innovation. So then let's come back to the results of independent survey among companies. So I wanted to get an idea what is the current interest of our HR managers in talent acquisition. So as you can see that 50% of respondents, they put at the first place attracting the best candidates from the market. So it means that from my point of view, they're highly interested in talent acquisition through employer branding. Then second and third place are taken by performance management and learning and development. What I want, I'm not sure, but from my point of view, these problems, priorities, they are set in the short-term period, despite of the third point with long-term plans. But in reality, as you can see, that minimization of costs and retaining the experience and expertise of personnel in the company, so they got the lowest rank. It means that currently companies, they're not really thinking about long-term planning. So, and I hope that results of this survey will be shared among companies, and they will pay attention on HR analytics, planning, or more after this presentation. So the next slide is about usage of ICT devices in organizations. So as you can see that the second line, number of enterprises and organizations using ICT. So within 10 years, we can see growth. So number of enterprises using ICT, they going to increase twice. But what's interesting, that if you can see that number of small and medium enterprises and organizations in totals, so it's twice less than organizations that are using ICT. I suppose, unfortunately, I couldn't find number of large enterprises, but it means that from my point of view, that most of the enterprises that they're using ICT, they're large ones, and small and medium enterprises, they have maybe one PC per the organization, but most of the cases they're using mobile phones. So then the next slide, I also asked organizations if they invest in IT and other digital HR solutions or not. So as you can see, it's almost 50-50. So, but since representatives of international organizations as UN will participate, and that's why I suppose that that's why this answer got such a positive trend. So then I also tried to understand digital tools that are being used. So as you can see that all of them, they're general. So several organizations mentioned Bittrex 24. So because of COVID-19, all of us, we started using audio, video interviewing. So one organization mentioned even specific software for HR analytics. A few ones told about special software for to check qualifications of the candidates. But what's interesting about ERP system, so most of the companies, they still use AKDN 1S. Why it's interesting for me, because when I was checking job announcements, I saw that even Kumtor, as you know, that Kumtor, it's a Canadian organization, and as far as I remember, that half of budget of our country is coming from Kumtor, but they're still using AKDN, and SAP Oracle is using by OSCE, Deloitte, so UN organizations. So, and one more question was related to uberization and aggregation in recruitment. So I highlighted aggregation in recruitment because I suppose that 53% they told that they're using this one, because uberization, as far as I know, that we don't have any platform and in Kyrgyzstan, and I think that our companies would never use platforms of other countries like Russian or EU or US. So the next slide is need in digital professions. So in most demand are professions related to digital marketing, PR, media, and sales. What's interesting, they're in demand among all types of organization, no matter if it's private, international, or government organization. So I saw announcement among all these types of groups. Then train on digital literacy, also digital health. I think that because of COVID-19, such interest got increased. And other, I highlighted digitalization partner. So this profession even appeared before COVID-19. It was placed by GIZ. I would say that the GIZ even is a leader of such digital professions announcements. So, and I think it's a really great idea because as per job description, this person had to explain about all digital opportunities within the organization. So I think that it's a really good initiative, and even private and government organizations, they should have this position as a regular one. And also this, we had also, as I have told you, some announcements from the government. So we have one project, digital CSA. So, and so it's very good. And so as you understand that our government has high interest in digital process, and at the beginning of May, new Ministry of Digital Development was newly introduced. So its main idea is to make to digitalize processes in all spheres of our life. So I hope that, of course, they're having their main interest in social spheres, but as we can see that unfortunately private organizations, they have lack of funding for some digital ideas, and I hope that there will be more initiatives like our master degree program on HR management, because HR managers, they need to redesign their way of thinking and to act as a real business partners. Because if each organization will be more active, so we will start moving our country even further, more than now. So, and we also have Digital Kyrgyzstan 2019-2023 concept. So the main focus is made on digital education, IT education, digital skills, and national digital content of websites. But it's really great that this document is alive, because a few days ago I paid attention in news that a new concept of the digital economy for 2021-2023 is being developed. So it means that it will be even better, and maybe it will bring us even to further progress. And here is the last slide. So as I have told you, that lots of efforts is made by state, population, and organizations. And according to the 2020 UN study on e-governments, Kyrgyzstan moved up by 8 positions and ranked 23rd out of 199 countries in the UN Global E-Government Development Index. So currently we are taking the 2nd place after Kazakhstan. And one more point is taken from the independent survey. So people were asked, do you link the facilitation of job search with the digitalization trends in Kyrgyzstan? And 86.7% responded yes. So it means that people are ready, government is ready, and companies, they also have an interest in it. So, and thank you very much for your attention, questions, and if you want to ask anything later, I would be happy if you connect me at the LinkedIn, and hope we will have other joint projects later.
Thank you very much, Saida. I think it was very practical information, yes, based on survey. So if any of our participants would like to ask a question, thank you very much. I think it was very good synergy. Yes, so 3 topics to be covered. Yes, the first one we have started from the United Kingdom. That was very interesting, and learning, yes, what is big challenges in talent management and UK, and how it is like evolving and revitalizing. Yes, and I think it was very good to listen also from the Aga Khan Foundation. Yes, their experience as a part of the global, I think, team, and how they are implementing those posts in Kyrgyzstan. And of course, I think it was very good to listen from the local context, specifically from Saida. I hope that it was very insightful for all of us. I could just ask if anyone would like to say something, to bring some question to our speakers. We still have them with us. And from my side, yes, from as organizers, I would like to say big thanks, our appreciation for your time, for your efforts, yes, for being with us today and sharing your experience with us. I suppose then it was a very, I think, fruitful day for us having this workshop. Yes, I hope that there will be more opportunity for us already meet in person, maybe, yes, have more collaboration, researches, and I wish you to have a pleasant day. In Europe, it's like still like morning, yes, in Central Asia, it's almost already afternoon. So have a nice day. Thank you and see you soon. Yes, let's keep in touch.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful
It's
speakers.
such an honor to be here. Thank you.